Welcome to Friday Morning Dharma on August 21st. Thanks so much for being here. Let's begin by settling into a comfortable meditation posture. Please take care to ensure that your spine is straight and relaxed. A straight spine facilitates unrestricted flow of our internal energy winds, sometimes called prana, sometimes called chi. And as a preliminary to our meditation, a preliminary practice, we can mount our three-word mantra on the breath. As you inhale, silently recite the word rest. At the top of the inhalation, silently recite the word relax. And on the exhalation, silently recite the word allow. Allow as in allowing the world and everything in it and everyone in it to be as it is. Rest, relax, allow, and repeat this sequence for a moment or two. And we can now gently transition into meditation on the inner body. Please become the silent observer of sensations that may start in your hands and your feet in the form of a tingling, perhaps a lightness, perhaps a heaviness, perhaps a pulsation. No analysis is necessary. All that is asked of you is to silently observe these sensations and allow a more supple, awakened state of awareness to emerge. This morning's meditation on the stages of the path is compassion. And to practice this meditation, I'd like you to please bring to mind someone in your life, someone with whom you are close, who is experiencing emotional suffering, physical suffering, or both. I'd like you now to imagine that this person is seated in the space in front of you, facing you, with their eyes at the level of your eyes. Compassion is a loving wish to free another from their suffering. Of all virtuous states of mind, compassion is supreme. So, for the next few moments, for the remainder of our meditation, I'd like you to please just rest in your heart of compassion. How wonderful it would be if this person could be completely free of that which ails them. More than anything else in the entire world, without expectation of an outcome, I wish for this now. Please rest with this compassionate wish, conjoined with meditation on the inner body. Now, please gently redirect your awareness. Become aware again of your physical body and allow your breathing to become less shallow. Taking deeper and deeper breaths, become aware again of the weight of the garments of clothing resting on the surface of your physical body. Become aware again of your surroundings inside the room that you're occupying. Deeper and deeper breaths, becoming aware again of the world that exists outside of the room that you're occupying. And we dedicate all of the merit, all of the positive energy to world peace. May leaders of countries who are at odds with one another soon come to recognize that nothing is accomplished with minds of anger. Instead, may they resolve their differences with minds of compassion, patient acceptance, empathy, and wisdom. And may we individually make the greatest contribution we can to world peace by resolving differences in our own lives with others, using minds of compassion, patient acceptance, empathy, and wisdom. Completely fill up your belly and lungs with air, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring your meditation to an end. Thank you. Thank you, and welcome back. So, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, we are going through our Monday, Friday classes. Our focus is on what are called the 21 Lam Rim meditations. Lam Rim is a Tibetan word which means stages of the path. So, these 21 meditations constitute the stages of the path, and we're going through. Um, I don't know, we're at maybe 14 right now. We just finished um, meditations and teachings on the advantages of cherishing others and the disadvantages of self-centeredness. And I've deviated a little bit from our discussion of the Lam Rim meditations because I just got back from vacation and I've been kind of sharing with everyone what has been up with me as a result, or up for me as a result of my vacation. And yeah, so it's kind of what I did for my summer vacation report. So, anyways, um, um, so something I want to clarify. I talked on Monday about, we talked, compassion has been up for me. That was sort of what arose for me and kind of front and center with kind of different contemplations and insights, maybe. And I just want to clarify something that I said in Monday's class. And those of you who were at Monday's class will remember that talked about, compassion for our fellow human beings, a wish for other people to be free from their suffering. Definition of compassion, a loving wish for another to be free from their suffering. Um, and I talked about the fact that, our fellow human beings aren't the only qualified objects of compassion. You know, Animals are also deserving of compassion. And for some of us, it may be easier for us to develop compassion for animals, right? Animals being displaced here in the West by forest fires. Yeah. I mean, there's stories of bears coming into town, you know, presumably looking for food because there's no food in their home, right? That's a basis of compassion. That's cause for us to wish for them to be free from suffering. And then kind of a new twist, at least it's new to me. Remember, talked about plants, compassion for plants. I just ordered a copy of the book, The Light Eaters, which talks about the like intelligence of plants. I guess it's like I haven't read it. I just a friend on my backpack trip told me about it. Just like mind-blowing stuff about the intelligence of plants, trees, and so forth. And so if plants have intelligence, then plants have consciousness. That means that we can regard plants as being sentient beings, and thus plants can be a qualified object of meditation for us. So what I talked about on Monday, maybe in a somewhat unskillful way, was saying, you know, we have trouble sort of like with some people, maybe a lot of people, cultivating a compassionate heart for them. Try animals. If for whatever reason, compassion for animals isn't an accessible meditation, go to plants. Yeah. It's like a menu, right? We've got like a smorgasbord of sentient beings for whom we can cultivate compassion. Something that I want to make clear is that in Monday's class, Monday's teaching, good morning, Teta. I'm just going, oh, you muted yourself. Thank you. Um, is that I don't think it's a skillful approach for us to say, oh, animals are my beings of compassion. They're the objects of my meditation of compassion. I'm not a human being meditator or a plant meditator or, you know, I'm a meditator on compassion for plants, you know, and I'm good. I'm good. Thanks. I don't need to expand my circle of compassionate meditation. Ultimately what we're going for is compassion for all beings, right? What we might consider universal compassion. Yeah, so maybe we can think animals, people, plants, maybe that's sort of the realm that we start in, but please maintain the aspiration to widen our circle of compassion to include more and more beings, more and more types of beings. Yeah. So compassion is can be kind of a slippery slope. It can be sort of a tricky meditation for us to master, or at least get traction and make progress on, right? You know, some of you know that my dog had surgery and and had to have a growth removed from his paw. And it's not healing as quickly as we'd like. So not life-threatening. He's going to be fine. I was talking with Will about this morning, but he has a cone on his head, right? Yeah. You pet owners might be familiar with the cone of shame. Yeah. So it's a term that's commonly used, I'm coming to understand. And you know, Ozzy, because it's paw, the vet just said recently we need to cut out his walks, right? We need to cut out his walks. Um, guess what? Ozzy, the dog's favorite thing in the world to do is to go on walks. Yeah. So I was talking with a Sangha friend of mine recently about that. A fellow pet owner has also gone through the cone, you know, healing from surgery thing. And she said to me, it was really interesting for me to use my compassion for my pet. It was a good check-in for her, she was saying in so many words, because she said she realized that her compassion for her pet was really at some fundamental level a wish for herself to be free from suffering. So it's like my pet is suffering and that's making me suffer. So I want my pet to be free from suffering. Do you see this? Yeah, it's really important. And it can apply to anybody. My dear friend or my relative. Hopefully they can be the same. Yeah. Friends, relatives can be friends. Yeah. Um, my dear friend is suffering tremendously, and I want them to be free from their suffering because their suffering is causing me suffering. Yeah. This, I'm not saying that it's 100% one or the other, unconditional, pure compassion for the other, or a wish for my loved one to get better so I suffer less. Probably a mix of the two. Yeah. But it's really, really good to key in on this because compassion, pure compassion, qualified compassion, we might call it, is necessarily other focused, right? It's focused on the other. And how are we doing for time? Good. Lo and behold, lo and behold, this links up to our teachings on the disadvantages of self-centeredness, right? Because in self-centeredness, sort of regarding ourselves as being at the center of everything, and everything in the world has relevance as it relates to me and my situation. This is self-centeredness. And in this discussion of compassion, I think it illustrates the consequences of self-centeredness, right? Because in our contemplations, meditations, practice of compassion, somehow we like slip over, we kind of lose our way, and even our compassionate wishes become about us, or it can happen. Yeah, this is big. This is really important. I'm so glad my friend sort of pointed this out to me. Ideally, ultimately, what we want to get to is a place where I wish for you to be free from your suffering, period. We might think of it as the Mahamudra of the practice of compassion. I don't need to think about it. I don't need reasons. I don't even need intention necessarily. I just have this heart wish for this being or this collection of beings to be free of their suffering, to be free of their mental and physical pain. So compassion links up closely to self-centeredness, the disadvantages of self-centeredness, and the advantages of cherishing others authentically, purely, selflessly. So I've got 2 minutes, and most of the people zooming in are from out of town, so you'll have to bear with me, please. But I want to make a plug for a movie that's showing at Light Hall on Tuesday called Frequency. Frequency. And by the way, Lotus Center is not involved in the promotion or production of this other than putting a flyer in the window. But it has to do, I think, with meditation. I see some of the faces on the poster, and some of them are familiar, Joe Dispenza being one of them. For some of you, I think some of us in this group, some of us are longtime meditators, been meditating for a long time. Some of us are relatively new. Um, for those of us who are new to meditation, I would invite you to go to this movie and see Frequency and sort of see how what they talk about with regard to meditation lines up to the meditation practice we do here. Yeah. We're allowed to go out and like compare, oh, the way we do it on Monday, Friday class is this, and what these guys are talking about is this. And there's a difference there. I wonder what the relevance of that difference is. I wonder if there's meaning behind it. And likewise, for us long-term meditators, I think there may be benefit. There may be benefit to going and observing these suggestions that I'm sure are going to be made with regard to meditation practice. Not so much comparing, saying, oh, like this part of what they're talking about is invalid because it doesn't reconcile with what I do, or, conceptual comparing and, critiquing. No, maybe we can go from a place of humility and say, I can always learn more. I can always learn more. As long as I'm not awakened, there's potential for me to learn and expand and grow and deepen my own practice. So maybe going to see this movie frequency can be an exercise in humility for us. 901. Thanks so much for being here, you guys.
I might add, Jeff, just the fact that this movie's coming to Silver City is phenomenal. This movie's being released worldwide.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that we're getting to see it here in Silver.
Wonderful opportunity. Yeah. Light Hall. I'm not sure the time the poster is out in
5:30, 5 or 6:30, something like that.
Yeah.
Clear
as mud. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're most welcome.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Bye, Jenna.
Bye-bye.